Hello YouTube, Cowless Gamer here with another War of the Tanks video. Now, I've been having very bad luck with the mouse. I don't know why. What's with the matchmaking? Just like the TT-130M, the premium tier 9 tank, that the reason why I got it is because it felt like a true heavy tank with its superior frontal armor. The mouse, same story. I've been having bad luck with the matchmaking, and there are moments where I feel like I should have won because I was performing well. But again, that's how quote unquote I feel. But in reality, yeah, there's nothing much I could do. If the team is doing bad, then you kind of like expect to lose. The only way you could like do something to help yourself is perform very well in order to gain a lot of stuff. Like again, if you guys seen my TT-130M, I lost, but I was performing so well that I won a lot of money and won medals. And I think I had a mastery at the same time, but it was just insane that I managed to perform highly well and yet I still lost. So, luckily in World of Tanks, you don't really lose that much, even if you lose. The only way you lose is in terms like negativity is the money system, like the credits, but overall you don't really lose anything. More than anything you gain, like you progress. You definitely progress if you lose, but the progression when you're losing is like super slow. That's why people prefer to win, because when you win you progress way faster, obviously. But yeah, and these two footage that I'm showcasing is basically me winning, but didn't survive at the end, which is ironic because the mouse is supposed to be a super heavy tank designed for survivability, designed for tanking. And me, I realize I kind of suck at the mouse. So if I don't survive at the end, that means I did not use the mouse very well. So I gotta learn the art of ricocheting, positioning. Like I gotta relearn all this stuff. The one thing that I learned the hard way about the mouse is the frontal turret armor, the cheeks. They're very vulnerable. Anyone could pierce it, even another mouse, which you're gonna see a footage right here. Despite that, I got destroyed. The mouse that was facing, he kept shooting on the cheeks and the lower plates, and that's something that I've noticed about the mouse. The mouse weak spots is definitely at the cheeks and lower plates. Now, if you look at the top of the mouse, you'll notice the cupola is almost non-existent, which I kind of like because I play a lot of American tanks, and the American tanks they notorious for the cupola. I also play Soviet tanks, and Soviet tanks their cupola is non-existent. So to me, that feels familiar. Now, the most common weak spot in war tanks is cupola or the lower plate, but the mouse it's just lower plate or the cheeks. Luckily for me, having weak spot on the cheeks is familiar because I play the T50 dash, yeah, the T57 or T-57 heavy tank. Now that tank technically it has armor, but you should not rely on the armor. And the funny thing is, the armor on the frontal hull is stronger than the turret armor. The turret armor in the T-57 heavy, the cheeks is like the weak spot. The turret armor is like no good. So yeah, I just kind of find that funny. On the mouse, it's kind of like the same story. The difference is the mouse is fantastic when it comes to side scraping. And side scraping is when you angle your side armor and angle it properly where it's going to be impossible for your enemies to penetrate. And luckily, because there is no cupola on the mouse, well, there is a cupola, but the thing is, it's super small. Like, if you look at the mouse on this footage, they're definitely not going to hit the cupola. So it's almost non existent. That being said, the only way like your enemy is gonna hit on you reliably is on the cheeks and lower plate. And as a mouse player, me trying to learn the mouse competitively, because I do like to play games competitive and I do like to mastery, the art of how to use certain, play styles. I gotta learn how to side scrape. I gotta learn how to hide the lower plate and reliably, not hide the cheeks, but rather angle the cheeks. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, if you position the frontal turret properly, the enemy they'll still try to shoot at your, frontal turret armor, which is the cheeks, in order to attempt to penetrate, right through it. But if you angle it properly, you will still bounce it. And I've seen some moments where they attempted to shoot it, but I managed to bounce it perfectly. And I love hearing that ding sound. And me, for some reason, I'm addicted to that. So I really do love playing as a heavy tank. And I do believe that playing as a heavy tank, it's wonderful. Now, if you guys see my footage of skirmishes, competitive skirmishes with my clan on water tanks, I did play the wall breaker or the Mauer breaker in German, and you could really play super heavy tanks competitively. Like playing heavy tanks or super heavy tanks competitively, like the wall breaker, it can be done. You could actually do it. The problem is you gotta think, best way I could say it, 5 steps ahead before you make a choice and stick with that choice. Because super heavy tanks are notorious for its sluggish speed, you have to like think 5 steps ahead and you have to stick with it. If you don't stick with it, then you're just wasting time and not being productive during in game. Now, that being said, another thing, being a super heavy tank, you also have to like learn your weak spot and learn how to minimize it. Now, for some reason in tier 8, and especially the Mile Breaker, I dislike the fact that the the cupola it's kind of huge, but here in the tier 10, it's non-existent. So, if they ever buff the Wall Breaker, I really wish they decrease the size of the cupola, because the Wall Breaker is obviously the mouse for tier 8, and because it's a mouse over tier 8, having a huge cancerous cupola, to me it makes no sense. It should be smaller, and the frontal turret armor should be like the weak spot, just like the mouse. Basically, the wall breaker should be a paste and copy of the mouse, but obviously for tier 8. And my only complaint is the cupola. But anyway, back to the subject. I'm really am enjoying the mouse, guys. But I feel like I've been failing as being a super heavy tank player. So I gotta learn how to side script. I gotta learn how to strategy, like where to go, and keep committing to what I'm doing in order to maximize the super heavy tank potential. And more importantly, learning how to hide the weakness, like minimizing the weakness and maximizing its strength. And the strength of this tank is health pool and armor. And despite that, I've been winning. In these two footages, you're gonna see me getting destroyed, but I was like giving up on preserving the health pool in order to try to get shots against the enemy. And to me, that's a fair deal because when you play as a super heavy tank, you also have very high health pool, and sometimes you could trade your health pool in order to deal damage and get rid of the enemy. Because remember, once you get rid of the enemy, that's it. They're done and back to the garage for them. So as long as you're surviving, that's good. And that's the thing about the mouse. Me as a super heavy tank player, I gotta learn how to survive at the end, because at the end of the day, it's me versus them, the enemy. And I also gotta a little bit rely on the team, but I gotta play as if I'm a solo player, if that makes any sense. Because sadly, in water tanks, you do kind of rely on the team, but at the same time, if you play as if you're a solo player, you could technically carry the game. And that's why when you watch a lot of videos, especially videos where the player kind of carries, you're gonna notice how they play. They play a certain way where they pretend like they don't have a team and they just maximize those full strength of their own tank. Like for example, light tanks. When you watch videos of light tanks ending up getting like 9 to 10 kills, doing over 20k of damage, they they tend to like pretend their team doesn't exist, and they have to like use the teammates as bait while they put themselves in safety situation in order to maximize their damage. If that makes sense. Same thing with the super heavy tanks. Technically, you do have to rely on your team for firepower, but you use yourself as bait. But because of the armor, not the health pool, remember the armor exists in this tank. You bounce a lot of shots, and if you bounce over 10k shots, which it does happen, you know you're doing your job well. So yeah, I'm just trying to learn how to play the mouse, and I'm very happy I got the mouse. As a matter of fact, I have no regrets. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys, because I feel like I ranted enough. But I'm kind of happy that finally I've been winning despite the bad luck. But the winning left me like a little salty taste in my mouth, and I realized I gotta play better with the mouse. Definitely gonna watch some videos and definitely gonna do a little research of how to maximize the mouse. Hopefully, I could get a good recording video, and I'll post it. I'll definitely post it up on YouTube. My best play with the mouse. So yeah, loving the mouse so far and no regrets. And I'm super happy with the new battle pass. The new battle pass offers a skin for the mouse and an exclusive skin. And right now I'm grinding just to get that skin. And like I said, guys, the battle pass they're free. You could definitely pay for it for the premium version, but the premium version is just extra stuff. You could still get the battle pass. You could still get the tokens for free. You don't have to pay anything. And yeah, that's just it's just options basically. I'm trying to say here. Well, guys, I'm gonna end it here. Caldas Gamer over and out. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down in the comment section below. I do read them and I'll try my best to respond. And please enjoy the footage. Thank you guys for watching. Adios.